Good Friday evening, everybody. Welcome into the Philly Friday Frenzy right here on the Rap Sports Network. I am Big Al, bringing you the week in a nutshell. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of off-field stuff to talk about. The Phillies get their first win of the season, get home opener. I don't know about you guys, but I hate this Friday in-betweener game because of the weather or whatever the reason is for makeup reasons. But I literally cannot stand this like ramp up to the regular season, the ramp up to the day off, this day in between the home opener and then Saturday and Sunday. Just get into baseball. We've started. We're going full force. I'm wearing my Iron Pigs tonight and my Jersey Shore. Showing a little love for the minor leagues with Zach Wheeler about to get his first rehab start, which is amazing. They're doing an all you can eat rib night, which we talked about on the first Fightins final of the season. Me and Matty B did last night. That's funny and awesome. And all you can eat rib night's amazing for a fat guy like myself. Who could ask for more? All you can eat rib night, minor league baseball, and Zach Wheeler on the hump. Like, really? Just sign me up. I wish I could get out there for. I wish I could be out there for it. Like, seriously, it's an amazing concept. Kudos to the Iron Pigs. They're having their thumb on the pulse because apparently the Phillies do not. Phillies have some drama going on. We talked about it a little bit yesterday on the Fightins final. About halfway through the game, news broke. Alec Boehm's mom and dad, they kind of apparently stole money from him, about $3 million. Now he's suing them on a contract year. So there's more to meets the eye on that story, but either way, it sucks, man. Like, if it's true, it sucks. If it's not true, it sucks that he's doing this. Like, and if it's really is true, it really sucks because, like, you think about it this way. I was talking to my father about this today. Man, I trust my father more than anything. I trust my father. The most trusted human being I know is my father. And even he said, I was telling him the story about it. And yeah, my dad's not a big sports guy. He just doesn't care about sports. But me and my wife and we're over my parents' house. I was delivering some stuff today to them. And I was telling, we were talking about, me and my mother asked about it. We were talking about the Alec Boehm situation. And like I said, I trust my father wholeheartedly. And he goes, this is why you don't let your family handle these things. And I said, Dad, I let you handle it. I trust you. And he goes, well, I wouldn't screw you over. And I know he wouldn't. But money can corrupt, man. So if it is true, like, again, I only going to say if and allegations and yada, yada, yada. And good evening, Robert. Another guy I trust a lot. How are you doing, my friend? But, I trust my father implicitly. But money can corrupt. And apparently they set up some LLCs and were funneling money out of his account into these things, using it for personal reasons. This is the allegations. Again, I do not know. They just set the lawsuit in literally the day before the home opener. I think this came out to him or became noticed to him. I think they said like January, if I remember correctly. I don't have the story in front of me, but what a wild story. But the Phillies are still in the news because we're going to be talking about the Harry Callis, the Harry the K pavilion. Not just that, but there's more to it. Mrs. Callis is not happy. And we're going to talk about that story. I don't want to read. I don't like reading articles like about things to you guys, but we got to kind of break things down. So there's a drama around the Phillies on a pretty successful for the most part, outside of a couple mishaps in the bullpen. Pretty great opening day for the Phillies, stats wise for most guys except for maybe Harper and a couple other guys. Excuse me, I don't know where that came from. I don't know why I'm tired, but I am apparently. So that kind of came out that the Inquirer dropped that news story right there in the middle of the game, like an hour and a half before the game was ended. And then Mrs. Callis dropped a little bomb. I want to talk about that. Sanchez he's a great pitcher, man. And people were all upset. Why are you paying him more? Why are you paying him more? You just got to keep the guy happy. I mean, there's a time, like, I always said, like, players aren't going to get money back. Like, Bryce Harper's not giving money back when he doesn't have a great year or a great season or whatever. But there's guys who outplay their contract. And to keep them happy, it's a good idea to keep them happy. I mean, they did for A.J. Brown. Nobody complained about it. Christopher Sanchez is literally making less money this year than Amundo Sosa. Think about that. And he is an ace on most teams, if not a really good number 2. 1A, 1B. He's a 1A, a 1B, and maybe a 2 in another in another realm. He's really only a 2 when Zach Wheeler's healthy. You know what I mean? But 10 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched, no runs let up. I think it was the best pitching performance since the modern day. It's the first time they opening. So what was it? I forgot what the exact quote was, but first time in an opening day win where they had 10 strikeouts or whatever. I mean, he deals. Other news, more off the field stuff. The Eagles are a little quiet right now on the home front. We're kind of in that lull between the draft and between free agency and the draft. And Jeff Stalin came. He was on the Nick Foles podcast. I want to touch on that a little bit. I don't want to read, but I just started reading that before I went on the air. I'm like, do you want? I want to talk about it. I want to react with you guys as we go on to the air. But it's some things going on there. But right now, we have a lot of stuff going on here on the network. Now with baseball back, you're gonna have a lot of the Fightins finals going on. I know the Flyers games are still going on, so a lot of this couple weeks here it's tough. It's really tough from covering sports, because especially when you only have 3 guys covering the Philly sports. So there are a lot of things going on the network here. In a couple weeks on the Philly AM show with me and Mike, I'm gonna have a great guest, and David. We'll talk about him. He covers the draft and college football for many years, and he is one of the best. He's a guy when you read something, he knows his stuff. So I'm going to bring him on to talk with you guys, but that's in a couple weeks on a Sunday. So be prepared for that. But I want to talk about these things and more in the Philly starts, and some things that were said, and like Sean Brace on 97.5, guy I've had on my show before in the past, great guy. I'm just preface that right now. I'm not making fun of him. I'm not blasting him or anything like that. But if I disagree or just find something a little whatever, we'll talk about it. Sean Brace said on 97.5 that he felt that there was tension with Harper. And Harper and the fans, I guess, is the best way of putting it. That he didn't see a lot of Harper jerseys. I mean, I know I was wearing my Harper jersey. I wasn't in the stands, but I was wearing my Harper jersey. But there wasn't a lot of Harper jerseys. He saw a lot of throwbacks. He thought a lot of Schwarbers and Trays and all that. He felt like, looking around, he did not see a lot of Harper jerseys, and he felt there was a tension. Now, Harper went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts yesterday. So he wasn't having his best game. It wasn't the first foot he wanted to put forward. But I don't know. I kind of want to like pump the brakes on that one a little bit. I just think it's a little premature after one game. You're kind of reading the room with the amount of jerseys. I mean, it's a pretty hard thing to say that you didn't see a lot of Harper jerseys. I mean, were you walking around with a pen and paper? I mean, again, I can see what he says and understanding what he says about the tension, maybe, and maybe because of the non-elite comments, and then the non-elite shirt, and didn't have a great series at the WBC, but he did have that clutch moment. But not coming up big, or not coming up at all, or really putting the ball. People, even Matty B was talking about his swing. He's worried about his swing, and maybe he is too. He's a violent swing. And, that's, if you're not 100% healthy or you get a little weaker, it slows down, and that becomes troublesome, and you would have to make some adjustments. But yeah, I mean, that's what I want to say about the Sean Brace comment. But I'm just like, I think it's a little early to make those kind of statements. But I don't know. Hey, listen, it's a conversation to be had, but a little early in my eyes. But I just want to bring that up. We'll talk about a little bit of all that stuff. But let's get into it. So we talked about the Alec Boehm situation. We talked about how he's suing his parents. Parents allegedly stole about $3 million from him. He's suing them for $3 million. They were funneling money out. And really what sucks about it is like let's just go back in time, all of us. Go back in time and remember when yourself at 25-ish years old, right? You're still a kid then. You know what I mean? And you're making money. Now, you come out of the minors, you're making money, and you're not making you're making better money than you and I are. You and most people on this stream are doing in a year, even in a minor league deal or a rookie deal and all that stuff. And he's made in his 10 years of Philly is almost $27.7 million, something like that. So $3 million isn't like you're like, oh, I'll take $24.7 million, right? It's not the money as much as you're growing, you're going into. You need to trust somebody who like getting $27 million is just count. And you pay your cable bill and you pay your rent and you buy your food at the supermarket and whatever, all those kind of things. You have to manage your money, and you're a young kid. Who else can you trust but your parents? That's huge from that standpoint. And I'll tell you right now, I mean, I don't know if I'd sue my parents for the money or whatever, but what a kick in the dinghy, man. Like that's just gut punch. I mean, he had a hell of a game yesterday. Maybe the gut punch was helpful for him. I mean, I guess he figures now I'm going into a contract year, and if I'm going to make any money, it's coming up, and I got to find somebody I trust. Now, who do you trust? If you can't trust your parents with your money, how are you going to trust a money manager? Somebody who'd probably be a little bit more knowledgeable on how to really put the screws to you. Like that's something to think about from a human standpoint. Like I said, if my parents stole from me, I wouldn't even care. Like if my dad, we were talking about if I made that kind of money, me and Maddie B talked about it. Like if I made that kind of money, if my parents need something, I have no problem. But I would never ask my kid for money. And maybe a little pride would make me like, unless my house is like I'm about to foreclose on my house. Me and my wife and maybe my other kids are getting kicked out of the house. My one kid, he's got millions of dollars, $30-ish million. I'll be like, listen, can you help me out here? I'll pay you back. There's no intention. Can you just help me get right so I can get on my feet here and we don't lose our house? And, if it was me and my father asked me that, I'm like, Dad, here, done. Here you go. And he might have done the same. But rip his heart out of his chest, man. Like, I really feel bad. If it's true, I really feel bad from that point, more than the money part. Like, it's really kind of a gut punch in that sense. So that brings us to the Harry Callis situation. So we all know about how the Harry the K's pavilion has been turned into the Ghost Energy Drink Pavilion, right? And we all talked about it. I try not to like really focus in on these corporate things. It's corporate, corporations making their money. Phillies are a corporation. Even John Middleton himself said, he's like, we have a $300 million payroll. They make $600 million upgrades. They were walking everybody around, showing them the new Cadillac grill and the all the new changes. But for the most part, most people are very upset that it's and I believe Middleton was even quoted saying, that they would have to cut a little nostalgia to cover those costs, and this is how they're doing it. It's here you go. Team managing partner John Middleton acknowledged that some of the changes will cut against nostalgia for Phillies fans, but that's the price of doing business when operating a baseball team with a total payroll of about $300 million. So I kind of get it from that standpoint. And I don't know if it's like you tear off the Band-Aid because no matter how you like it or not, um, the public's not going to like it. I was a big fan of it, but I kind of get it to a point. If I'm running from a business standpoint, like it was a sign that could make them money. I don't know how much it's going to make them, but probably a nice chunk of money. And that is a business when it rolls down. But at the same time, it's like Harry K. Man, I remember when he died. I was in a car not too far from my old house, and I heard the news come across. I had to pull over, man. I got upset. Like I got emotionally upset. Like here's the guy, the voice of the Phillies, who I knew. That's who I knew. Like he was like an uncle or a family member. Like his voice is all I really knew growing up of the Phillies. So it was very emotional, but I get like you know that maybe they at one point they have to make some changes, but it sucks and it feels corporate greedy and dirty and grimy, and I get that. But the situation got a little deeper, so I'm gonna go in this a little deeper with you guys. Um, so Harry DeCallis' uh, widow, Eileen Callis, he's upset about the decision of selling the sign names to Ghost Energy. Um, and as we all know, he died in 2009, which I just talked about. And the Phillies have paid Eileen Callis $20,000 a year to use her husband's likeness, per the Inquirer, including for this season, despite the sign's removal, but informed her they wouldn't be paying her in 2027. Although the story said they plan on still honoring Harry by playing a video of him singing High Hopes on the Fanavision. Eileen went on to tell the outlet that the Phillies can't play the video of him singing the song if she isn't paid. So it gets a little deeper here. So apparently they're paying her $20,000 a year for his likeness. A little nice little chunk of change to use your late husband's likeness. And you know what? I wouldn't even think about like you would have to pay somebody to use his likeness, like because he worked for this. Like, can you only use video that was recorded while at work? Like I don't know the rules of that. It would be great to get a lawyer on. I wonder if I got lawyer friends. Maybe I can see if any of them have any insight on this. But like, what would you have to pay? Was it like just like here we're paying you because we're showing you the respect? And if since 2009, since 2010 they started for 17 years they paid her, or no, 16 years, I guess it would be 16 years. Um, that's $320,000 they paid her. Um, and they're going to pay her, but now the money's going to stop. And she's saying, well, the use of my husband's likeness is going to stop. She told the Inquirer, taking down the sign takes away everything he did for the city. I think they betrayed Harry. It's not about me. It's about doing what's right. But it's about what they're doing to Harry. I think they betrayed him for everything he did for them. You can go and look at this argument from some different angles here. I love Harry K. I do. I really do. Is the pavilion, the Harry K. Pavilion, really an homage or just a way of pulling people in or just a name that people were familiarized with? I mean, it'd be one thing if they're taking down a statue of him. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it just doesn't sit right because it seems very corporate greedy at the same time. There's a lot of facets to this that really don't sit right with me, right? And you guys tell me if I'm over, if I'm I'm just trying to be objective here at the same time as my feelings about it um makes it difficult. I mean, you guys can chime in here too if you want to and let me know, what do you think? I mean, if they kept paying her, would she care? And does that change it? If they said, fine, we'll change it back to Harry to K, but we're still not going to pay you. Now does it become all about her money? That you can use his likeness if you pay me, but if they didn't take her money away, would she care about that as much? I look at it from both points of view, but it does seem grimy. And we do all these things, and all. I'm sure that that promotion, that Ghost Energy sponsorship, helped pay for a lot of these new upgrades in the stadium. Maybe half of them. I don't know what they charge for something like that. Wouldn't want to know, to be honest with you. But these guys do a big payroll. Pay a guy like $20 million, who's not even playing for you right now. You're throwing $20 million out the door on somebody who's not even playing on you. So you got to make it up somewhere, right? So again, I'm not agreeing with it. It seems very grimy to me from that point of view, because I love Harry Kay. Harry Callis was my guy. He was that first guy I knew when it came to sports. Um, and then he said, "I get it. There's an emotion to that. There's a 7-foot statue of the guy in left field. The broadcast booth is named for him. There's a plaque. I mean, it's not like we're not honoring his legacy. It's not like we're not going to continue honoring his legacy going further or going into the future." Again, they didn't take a statue down. They did not name the broadcast booth after him. But because the big sign over a restaurant, doesn't call it, say, Harry K's, if they change Ashburn Alley to Bud Light Alley, you know what I mean? The It's a Rap Sports Network Alley, you know what I mean? Like, do where does it where does it begin and where does it end? Is changing the name on a banner or changing a name on what's it called? Or they changed that analog clock. They got rid of the analog clock. Some people were upset about that. I'm like, whatever on that. Um, see some new signage out there. Signage is what pays the bills. I mean, elephant in the room. I'd rather the team make more money so they can put a better product on the field. I love Harry Callis, but I do not need to be reminded him of a banner. I remember him at every home run hit. Or anytime somebody says Mickey Morandini, every time you say Mickey Morandini, that's you cannot not say it in your head, Mickey Morandini. Like, you cannot not say it that way in your head. Like, that man's name had like 27 more syllables to it because of him. And I get it. And this is the part I'm struggling with, Elephant. This is the part I'm struggling with. I agree about what Rob just posted. I'll put it up there. It feels very corporate greedy. But at the same time, it was a banner or a covering over a bar out in left field, right? Or I guess that's the third baseline. It wasn't like they took the statue down like Middleton did. I mean, he makes a good point. There's a statue out in left field of him. The broadcast booth is literally named after him. They want to play his video. Now, again, if they were changing that but not taking her money away, would she put up a fight like this? I'm not saying she doesn't deserve some compensation for the likeness of her husband. And I don't know the rules behind likeness either. I really don't. Like, at what point do you own the right to use somebody's likeness? Somebody who you paid over the years, broadcast over video, like you get to use his videos, right? That's their video, right? Any video of him, a broadcast of him, an audio broadcast of him. Legally, are they allowed to use whatever they want as long as it's related to that? Like, if they pulled his wedding video or something, or put his wedding pictures up, maybe she has a right to say no to that, or pictures from a Christmas morning at the Callis household in the 80s. I don't know. Like, I don't know those nuances. And I wish I kind of this came out. Or I would have maybe tried to get one of my lawyer friends on here who I know who could maybe have um, broke it down legally for me, because that's my point is, she legally tell them to stop using the high hopes video for when they win? Can she tell them that? Because it's video that they used. Now, if there's some contract signed that they say we're using his likeness and we're paying you for it, and they stop paying for him, then that's a breach of contract, right? That's a different story. But if you're using something that you own the rights to, which is the video archives of the Philadelphia Phillies, I don't know. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But like Elephant said, if that money's going to help, listen, it's going to help a rich man be richer, Elephant. Let's just be honest with that. But if it's going to help put a better product out on the field and make up for a $20 million loss to in one player, Nick Castellanos, would you do the same if you're a corporate finance guy? Hey, listen, these guys are willing to pay $5 million to put their name out there. Kind of helps take the sting out of the $20 million we're throwing down the drain right now. We just put $600K out for renovations. Beautiful renovations. I mean, the one thing about I don't know if you guys saw any of the videos or pictures from the Hall of Fame club that they made changes to. So if anybody remembers the old Hall of Fame club, it had the baseballs all glued onto the wall or screwed on or however it was. What a bitch it had to be to clean that thing, though. They're like baseballs, like on the wall. So like there's grooves in between. And for anybody who's never been to the Hall of Fame club. And I know they said that certain guys would go around and like ex-players would sign some of the balls and just like leave them there. But they took them all down. They also had baseball bats as like part of it. I guess they sliced in half and mounted to the wall. I guess they took them all down. It looks very sleek and modern in there. I mean, it's nice looking, don't get me wrong. But I kind of like the baseballs on the wall or the baseball bats on the wall thing. But it is cool. Don't get me wrong. But that I get paid for. Was it necessary? No. It's a very gray area for me. Like I feel like I'm dwelling on this too much, and I just don't know how to feel about it right now. If I look at it from a businessman standpoint, he's not wrong. He isn't dishonoring Harry in any which way. It was literally a tent over a pavilion. It wasn't like they ripped down a statue to put up a big sign that says Monster Energy. Never been to the ballpark. Can't afford it. I know, man. Like I already looked at tickets. I'm like, I really wanted to go sometime in the next couple of weeks, the family, but like it's $1,000 for me probably. If I want to just take me, my wife, and two of my kids to sit in half decent seats, $150 bare minimum. That's $600 right there. Just right there, right off the bat, before taxes, before fees, before parking, before hot dogs and all that. It's tough, man. Like when you went to the ballpark as you got older in your 20s and the early 30s and you have kids, or they were very young, so they weren't coming with you. The minute you have kids and a wife and all that, it's like everything doubles and triples and quadruples depending on it, because you don't just go buy a pizza for yourself or a burger for yourself. You're going to buy burgers for everybody. You know what I mean? I haven't been since Roy Halladay. I was given those tickets. Yeah, a lot of times we talked about this earlier. We're getting the hot dog, the ballpark Franks back at the vet, and getting the tickets then. It's really hard, man, and it's a shame. You know what? I go to a lot of these games if you can. Jersey Shore, I'll give you guys a couple tips. If you live locally, especially Delaware County, Philadelphia, the Wilmington Blue Rocks play right south of like where the Union Stadium is. So if you're in Delaware County, it's literally a 15-minute drive to Wilmington. You're in Philly, depending on what part, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. But it's right north, like right over 95 in Wilmington, like about a few miles over the border, right? Really close, like right downtown in Wilmington. You can get to the Blue Rocks games, but they play the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. And I got Arun Escobar's signature. My son, I should say, got Arun Escobar's signature. So I got a signed Arun Escobar baseball, which is really cool because he could become something. It's a nice little souvenir. And if Dante Nori plays for them, things like that, I would love to go. Like they're playing next weekend So you can go get a $30, $40 ticket. I think parking's free. You don't pay for that. The food's reasonable. You're not paying out the ass for it. I mean, it's not the cheapest hot dog in town, but it's not a $7 hot dog. You know what I mean? Or go out to Jersey Shore, which I've tried to. It's about an hour away from Philly. Um, Reading for the Iron Pigs are about an hour away, 45 minutes or an hour away, depending on where you live from the area. Go check them out, man. You can go watch Zach Wheeler pitch and get a $10 all you can eat rib buffet. You get ribs and coleslaw for $10. Can't get a freaking McDonald's cheeseburger for $10 anymore. So yeah, go do that. That's the workaround. Like I try to see when the Jersey Shore Blue Claws go for $125. I can get 5 tickets, and take them to the game and not like kill myself. Now it's not as fun to maybe some people. It's not the same, but when you have kids and you got to make sacrifices, I'm gonna get them to a Phillies game, but hope somebody gives me tickets. So so like I said, it's two like really stories that are kind of not in the good light for the Phillies coming off first game of the season, a nice victory. Christopher Sanchez, Alec Boehm, even though with his situation, 3-run jack, Oppo Boppo, him and Schwarber going Oppo, 5 runs scored. Little hiccups at the end of the bullpen, but Duran came and shut it down, and that's it. It all stinks because that's right, Rob. You do live in Dover, so even for you to go to your closest one would be the Blue Rocks games, and that's still what, hour and a half at least, hour and a half to Wilmington. My uncle used to live in Dover, and all right, he used to have a house and a restaurant right off the Air Force Base there called the Bee Gees. Used to go do Easter dinner there when I was younger. So right now, 3 of the teams have played in the NL East. The only 2 haven't played yet are the Braves and the Marlins. Now, all 3 of the teams, including the Phillies, have won. Right now, the Marlins are up 2-1 at the top of the 9th over the Rockies, so they could win. And the Braves are up 6-0 over the Kansas City Royals in the top of the 8th. So if everything stays the way it does, the NL East will have all have W's to begin their season going into Saturday. There's only 8 games going on tonight. The Yankees played on Wednesday, so they played tonight. They're up 3-0 over San Fran. That was final today, so the Yankees already have two dubs on the season so far. Blue Jays are up 2-1 over the Athletics in Toronto. That's the top of the bottom of the 7th right now. I told you about the Marlins and the Braves. The Astros are up 4-1 Angels are up 4-1 over the Astros. And the end of the 4th right now, and still to play tonight. Padres and Tigers. They're on at 9:40, so in about 10 minutes. At 9:45, the Guardians take on the Mariners in Seattle, and at 10:10, Dodgers Diamondbacks. So a little baseball on tonight if you want something to do. So yeah, like an hour. That's what I figured. I think it was about an hour. I remember it. I used to go to the Delaware Shore Points a lot too. I do enjoy the Delaware Shore Points, especially when the Jersey ones get a little crazy. Speaking of crazy news, I know it's not really Philly sports related, but Tiger Woods, man, T-Dub. He in the news, he was arrested for a DUI, though the breathalyzer was 0-0. Didn't register on the breathalyzer. Mikey, I'm actually going to get ready to open them up shortly. Tiger Woods breathalyzer test was negative, but they said he seemed impaired, but he denied a blood test or urine sample or whatever, urine sample. So he's in the headlines again, not for good reasons. So yeah, just a little crazy off the cuff sports news, but the 2 of the Phillies ones really just don't put the Phillies in great lights right now, and it just sucks. Like just starting the season and then having these kind of like annoyances behind us, and I mean, I'm sure we'll all get past it shortly. The other one thing I wanted to talk about was Jeff Stoutland, and then I'm going to open up the lines. Jeff Stoutland It's been about 2 months since the whole Jeff Staley news came down that he stepped down as Eagles offensive line coach after 13 just amazing seasons. And I know last year wasn't the greatest, but whatever. A lot more injuries than anything. He was on the latest this season or the SZN with Nick Foles and Evan Moore. I believe on Friday or not Friday. It was released today. I believe this news article came out breaking it down on NBC Sports about 4 hours ago by Dave Zangaro, who Dave's a great guy, by the way. And I do like reading. But I'm reading this with you guys. So I'm kind of reacting with this. So him and he was a guest and spent about an hour chatting about a bunch of different topics from memories with Foles and a tush push and his coaching philosophies and more. He didn't dive too deep into the departure, but he did explain it a little bit. And these are some quotes from Jeff Stalin. And you guys all know how I felt about the Jeff Stalin situation. I still think that could be the difference between a winning Super Bowl and no Super Bowl this coming season. Just put that in the back of the old memory banks for a second. Here's the first quote. I've done this for a very long time. As I said, 30 years in college, 13 years in the NFL. So lots of players will be asking me along the way, "Hey, coach, can we talk?" or whatever. And then he goes on to say, and they have the thought of maybe not playing football in college any longer, or if a guy is thinking about retiring in the National Football League. So I've had these conversations with players. So he's had the conversation about stepping away with players. I always say, look, I can't tell you what you should do or you're going to do. I have no idea. That's not right for me to say that. But as I always say this, I think there's some point in your life where you kind of know. You kind of just know. So he's saying like it kind of just came to him. Again, I don't want to dive into this just yet. I want to hit the other couple quotes. So if anybody calls in, we can talk about some of this. But next quote is, I think I reached that point. I was in a position where I had a lot of things changed, things were happening, things had taken place. And I'm like, wait a second. This is what I talked about with the other players all the time. I just felt like it was that time. I haven't looked back since. I know there's things that I'll miss, but I know there's going to be some exciting things going forward and opportunities and challenges and that's the kind of what I want, what I'm all about. We all know his history. I don't have to get into that. On a recent appearance of the Fitz and Wit podcast, Johnson called Stalin's departure unexpected. This is Lane Johnson. But as he thinks Stalin will be around in some capacity this season, meaning maybe as a mentor, kind of like to the new guy. I don't know. He was asked about this on the same podcast. I have no idea, Stalin said. I haven't had a conversation with anybody about anything like that. I don't know. But Lane and I, we came together in 13. That was Chip Kelly's first year. I always think we felt like we'd end up leaving together as well. I don't know. There's almost a silent agreement, kind of, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. So another one was, while the podcast conversation went into a lot of different directions, it began to question to Stout about what he was most proud of over 13 years. He talks about his relationships. These are the last two quotes I'll hit you with before I open the phone lines. The relationships that I built not only with the players but people in the organization, the top to the bottom, selling. I mean, like everybody, people in the cafeteria, the training room, the video department, they're all real close friends of mine. I appreciate relationships and friendships, so that part I will miss, but I'm excited. I've always been a person that if I was going to do something, go all in. Go all in, be excited, be energetic, not make believe, but really feel like. So there's a lot of creative ideas, things that I'm looking into, and I'm excited about the new chapter of my life. Interesting. Interesting. 44 years is a long time to be in the business. It's a grinding business, requires a lot of time away from the family. I'm from your family, so I'm excited about doing ordinary things like going for a walk in the neighborhood with my wife, Allison, or going to play golf in September. I have no idea what that's like. I'm really excited about the whole new thing. And the other thing is I'm excited about is I really want to help people. Stallion didn't say whether or not he wants to return to coaching, but he did talk about continuing Stallion University in some capacity for others, players and coaches included. A few minutes, and that's about it. So maybe he does his own little school for NFL players. Maybe trains guys in the off season so he can enjoy the regular season. Maybe he works with the coaches. Maybe that's something that's in the works. And he does mention people. It's still, I don't know. He says he came to peace with it in my eyes. Still don't, I still am not believing that it's what he was planning on doing. But at the same time, maybe the forced, I don't want to say forced, but the decision kind of being made for him made him kind of come to peace with it a little sooner. Maybe that's my personal takeaway. I'll let you guys throw some in. I'm going to throw up the lines right now. You guys know the rules. You can come on, click the link in the comments section. You can come on, video or no video, but no background noise or music or anything like that. And if I have to cut it, I'll cut it. But other than that, most of you guys, I haven't had that problem yet. I don't expect it anytime soon. But the phone lines are officially open. So the comment or the look to the comments for the link. I'm gonna leave it open a little bit. But so let's talk about this. Are you guys happy with this Phillies first game? I know the smallest of small sample sizes. Remember, first one 162. God knows what we're gonna be talking about. If you're super excited right now, you could be let down in 2 days. That's just the way that's what makes baseball kind of like that magical thing. Because you can be so excited. Oh, we won the home opener. And listen, winning the series opener is one of the most important games to win. But you can go in and then lose the next two, and that excitement changes drastically. But I believe our boy Mikey Papernick is on the line. So, Mike, what is going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, Al? How you doing, man?
What is going on with you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, everything's fine, But I want to start off with this. The views of Mikey Papernick are my views only.
Yeah. No, that's hey, listen,
okay.
Mike, I know we're going to come on here, and I know it's going to be fun. Listen, this is the one thing that I think sports talk has gotten away from, is enjoying the back and forth. I don't mind if you disagree. I actually prefer somebody to disagree with me. But as long as you're willing to be open to conversation and look at both sides. But go ahead, Bud. What do you got for me tonight?
I think the biggest story in Philadelphia going on right now is Brent Selleck's ex-wife with Hollis Thomas now.
I didn't even want to bring it up, dude. I text Hollis earlier today. And I was like, dude, and he just sent me like a laughing emoji, and that was it. Like, Hollis is a great guy, just a great guy all around. Like,
dude, but former teammates. I think they were former teammates.
Well, obviously, Mrs. Selleck is not a fan of Mr. Selleck, and is making sure it is out there that I'm doing this. And I think one of the pictures, wasn't she wearing who was the other, the Zach Ertz jersey or Jersey or something?
Yeah,
she's wearing like another tight end's jersey or jersey or whatever.
That's great.
I think it's awesome. Dude, I have hung out with Tank numerous times. I've known Tank for years. For a little background, Delco Day 2, and Delco Day 10 was last year. But Delco Day 2, Hollis Thomas was our celebrity guest.
Okay.
Yeah, and he is a great guy. And I'm looking at the videos. Friends with him on social media, watches. We talk. Text. I don't text him all the time. We're not best like friends like that, but enough to pick up the phone and message him and go back and forth. Yeah. But it's freaking hilarious, dude. It's just the pictures are great. I'm gonna actually, well, tell me more because I'm gonna try to pull up some if I can.
Well, no, that's all. You know, but I don't know much about the Alec Baum situation. Boy,
dude. Here's my thing on that one, right? I how do I put this? I was talking about this earlier on the show because I was kind of like how the Phillies have not been really put into a good light recently, and that was the big thing between that and the Harry Decay situation.
Oh, yeah, the Harry Kay thing. That's
and there's a couple different things that go along with that. But before we jump into that, but I said, listen, I'm going to go with the alleged thing because we don't know what happened. I don't want to. People read one headline and it was so all over the place. Like, oh, it's $3 million. You got $27 more million. Who gives a shit? It's not the point, man. If that's not if it happened, I feel really bad for him. I really do. Let me just throw this out there. You might not like Baum or Bohm or however you want to say his name. You might love him, hate him, want him out of here, whatever it is. But I feel bad for a guy because here's
I feel bad for him too.
I go back to a guy 25 years old. Could you imagine 25 years old, you making it to like Major League Baseball, 25, 26 years old, and you're getting millions of dollars? Even if you're making the bare minimum, you're almost $1 million. Making more money than we all are. Probably takes about 5 or 6 years to make the bare minimum for us, right? Mm-hmm. And he's making this money, and you're like, I got to focus in on the game. Because just because I made it here doesn't mean I get to stay here. It's not an automatic give, right? So I need to focus on my game. Like I was saying earlier, I trust my father implicitly, and my mother, I should say, both of them implicitly. If I needed to stash my money somewhere, I'd be like, Dad, take this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'd have no problem, and I'd probably get more back than I gave him. My mom would probably slip more in, knowing the way she works. But I could not imagine. And listen, I'm a proud man. Like, if I needed money, like if my son was a Major League Baseball player and he made a lot of money, and I'm about to lose my house or something. If I had tuck my tail between my legs or something, I would do it, I guess. But but at the same time, I just felt bad because like this poor guy, like how can you have to trust somebody now? Not only now, but now you're going to go sign maybe some sort of contract here or somewhere else next year, which is going to be a lot more than money than that, no matter what he gets paid. And now he's got to trust some nameless money manager who probably knows a lot more ways to screw him over.
Yeah, it's a tough situation because I don't know. I mean, I get that you can trust your family, you know what I mean, but it can go south sometimes. And so I would never put my family into it. I'd probably get a money person to help me. If not,
well, that's my point.
Look, I could build a vault. I could build my own. I could build my own vault. With the money I got.
Yeah, but it's not just people don't get it. It's not just holding on and watching the money. Like a money manager doesn't just stick it in the bank and look at it for you. Like they make sure you're like investing wisely, your taxes.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
And paying, like making sure your bills are getting paid because you're that busy now. Well, if you get married and you get your wife to do it, let her write checks.
Well, here's the question: how did they have? Okay, so he had to give them some type of power of attorney to be able to take the money. Was there or was he a business together or something? I mean, because their names on the account.
So I think for like reasons like you have to have some sort of to do accounting and business for him, some sort of legal power of attorney. So he probably if you were a business manager, they probably had the same kind of rules and regulations that they had to follow. But here's my thing is like, this is nowhere near. As big as a deal. And I'm putting up the pictures right now of Hollis and Susie Selleck out there.
That's great.
She likes the pictures of herself. That is for sure. But I think it's great. I think this is awesome. By the way, let me take it down. It's distracting me now. There we go.
I wonder how Brett feels about it.
Well, I got my feelings on Brett. I'll tell you them off air one day. I've had my dealings with him. So my thing is like you got to go to a money manager now because you got to listen. A lot of these guys have like charitable foundations because when you make that kind of money, you're in a high ass tax bracket. And I'm not saying they
Okay.
all do it. I'm not saying they all do it in just the charitable stuff for the tax break, but trust me, it helps.
Mm-hmm.
But they all start these foundations, and then they get to keep them going because the foundation is within a foundation of a bunch of millionaires. So
Yeah.
if you have a bunch of coworkers and you're a guy on the team and the other guys on the team, you all donate to each other. It all kind of washes out in the long run, but it keeps keeps your taxes within check. But it's a much bigger thing than just putting your money and making sure it
Yeah.
stays in account.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I understand that part. All right. Well, so now, what about Harry Decay and what Middleton said that he has to generate like 600 million in revenue just to if you want $300 million, in free agency spent.
No, I mean
He said that.
the rules of business are you're supposed to make 2 to 3 times the amount you spend. Like, take this for
Yeah,
instance. I used to run.
but he's taking Harry Decay away for that. That's why Harry Decay got taken away for that energy drink. That's what he's
I,
talking about.
and I get what you're saying. So hear me out on this. I'm not agreeing with it. Let me just preface this. All right, I'm not
Yeah,
agreeing with it. It definitely smells a little corporate greedy. But he also said something which makes sense. Did he? Is there a Harry Decay statue? They just changed
yeah,
the name on a pavilion. They didn't take his
yeah,
statue down. His name is still the name of the broadcast booth is the Harry Callis broadcast booth. It's not like they're not honoring him, but they took
yeah,
away something that was put up there because it was something recognizable to us. So this is where I'm
yeah.
like, I kind of can see both sides. Now, did you hear the other part about Mrs. Callis?
No, I didn't hear that. I didn't know.
So the story goes on further that they said that John said, we're still planning on, here we put the statue, there's this, there's that, and we still on honoring him and playing the High Hopes um, uh, video to honor
Yeah.
him. And she said, because apparently since he passed, so 2009, and I said, if you did the math, they're paying him they're paying her $20,000 a year since he passed, including this year, to use his likeness or something.
Okay.
She said if they don't since they're not paying her anymore, she's saying they can't use his likeness.
Ooh.
So there's a little bit more of a wrinkle to it here.
Well, here's what's going to happen if Middleton finds out that say nobody owns it. Oh, he'll be right. He'll get somebody right on top of that to own the name. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like if it's not no.
Here's my point: is she's saying it's a disrespectful thing, and they're not honoring him. If they didn't take her money away, but just said, "Listen, we gotta sell that part of it." We're not taking the statue down. Like, they didn't take a statue down and put a sign there, right? They
Yeah.
just changed the covering of a pavilion, and
Uh huh.
I'm not disagreeing with you know the corporate greedy part of it, and
And
but at the
they're still paying her, right? Or no?
this is the last year. They say this is found out that this will be the last year they're paying her $20,000. Now, this is all according to the stories I read.
Wow.
It's about $320,000 if you include all 16 years. 2010.
So, but that's all she'd get is 20,000 for that. How much are they generating off his name?
Well, it's the way it works. You own the IP for a
Yeah.
lot. But I
Yeah.
wonder. Here's my thing: is if this news broke earlier today, if I had more time, I might have got one of my lawyer friends to come on if they had some thoughts behind this, if they knew the nuances of it. But if he worked for the Phillies, all right, so you say it's a Rap Sports Network, right? And me and Matty B had a falling out, and I said I'm out, or I left, or whatever reason, no good, no bad, whatever. And Matty B wanted to rerun some videos of me. Maybe I go get a job with ESPN, right?
Yeah.
And he like, hey, look at our guy, and he runs some videos of me, but throughout the years, whatever the reason is, he honors me in whatever way. If he owns It's a Rap Sports Network and I work for the It's a Rap Sports Network, and I have contracts with you and all that stuff, that doesn't really happen with us here, but I'm just using this as an example. Does any video, not new video or video that was personal, but video that he has of me, like this show right now on the It's a Rap Sports Network, does he have the right to rerun this whenever however he feels like?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you should be able to. I would say yes.
I don't know. I really don't know because if you leave, do you take your likeness with you? Like if I wrote articles, I can't take my articles with me and take my videos.
Okay. I could. Okay, okay. Here you go. So when pro wrestlers sign with WWE, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why Vince changed his name? A lot of them didn't want to keep their name. So they had to use it. Then when they got into the 2000s, that's why a lot of them started using their own name. And sometimes because Vince couldn't, because they didn't want to sign it over, or some did sign it over to him. You see where I'm going?
Name because that way he couldn't own his.
Yes.
Like if I go wrestling as Al Zaffiri, he can't take my wrestling name. But if I'm the great Al Lee Baba, like
he might have you sign it over. You come in as that, he might sign you. He'll own that
Stone
now.
Cold Steve Austin is not really named Stone Cold Steve Austin, so he could own the rights to his name.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but that's it right there, because his name's Steve Williams. Actually, that's his real name. But that's what I'll get at. But here's the thing: after this year, they're still using his likeness, the statue, all that. That should all fall into some sort of in there.
But let me ask you this question: if it's all about how you use it, right? So take social media for instance, right? If I go and use a song, like my opener for this show is a copyrighted song, right?
Yeah.
I could get banged by social media for copyright issues, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I dispute them and I'm saying, say, the musician died, right? And I played a snippet of his song in honor of this musician, right? Or a video of an actor in this movie in honor. You can get away with that a little bit if it's an honor or a memory.
Okay.
I think you can get in more trouble. Tell me what do you think is more corporate-y, for lack of better words, a statue or a plaque with your name on it, naming part of your broadcast booth after him, or a big giant pavilion sign over a restaurant bar where you make money out of in your stadium?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And again, I'm not siding with Middleton and the Phillies. I know it
but are they selling T-shirts or anything with that stuff on it?
With Harry Decay on it?
Yeah,
that's a different story.
That's what I mean. So if that's maybe that's why she's saying that.
Well, my point is I don't know. She said they can't play that video. So he plays the
unless she owns that. Maybe she owns the rights to it. It's that one.
That's my point. Is I would imagine the Phillies own the rights to it. If it's their video, they're from their library, right? Like all the stock video library, they keep it all, right? I'm sure there's a vault of digital library that they have. And if they go grab a game from 1978 that they had televised, right? And they chop it up and do whatever with it, if Harry's in there, is it their right to use it? Because it's their, like, do you ever see at the end, like, all rights to baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies?
Yeah.
If it's that video from a time when he was working or with the team, does she have the right to tell him no? Now, if they took his picture and they were selling Harry Decay T-shirts and slapping his face on there, different story.
Wasn't this what one of the O'Bannon brothers sued the NCAA over for his likeness and stuff being used from college? It was Ed O'Bannon. It was one of the O'Bannon brothers sued after he got out of college, and he sued for them using his likeness and he made no money off it, and that's why all these guys get their college guys got their likeness into that.
So I think if you use a likeness for selling, right? If I took the Phillies P and I slapped it on a hat and sold it, or the Eagles emblem, and I slapped it on a hat and sold it, that's taking their IP. If I took Mike Papernick's picture and put it on a T-shirt and I sold 10 million of them, you would have a right to come after me and say, you use my likeness, you made money.
Well, that's what I'm getting at with the Harry Decay thing. Did they slap anything with Harry Decay on it? Just and maybe or maybe just the song. I mean, if it's just a song, I mean, you can't use his likeness no more.
It's not his song, first of all, but it's him singing the song. It's him singing the song in the locker room. So it's their again. If it was their video they recorded, it's part of their video lot. Again, if they were selling shirts with his likeness on it or name on it, and again, I think that that pavilion is more of a infringement upon them to use his name, and that's why I think they stopped selling it. They stopped
Okay.
saying not getting the $20,000 because we were using his name during this time of, the Harry the K's. It wasn't a memoriam to him, but we're using his name to sell this restaurant inside the stadium. So people had a
I
name
get what you're saying. Yeah.
like Ashburn Alley, but it's not like the statue or the plaque is a selling point, right? It's a memoriam.
Yeah.
So I kind
Well,
of get both sides of it a little bit.
well,
That's why it's a conundrum to me.
or it could just be sour grapes on her part. Maybe she's just hurt by it. You know what I mean? It was something that was out there.
$20,000 a year, just for a team to use it's literally just getting a check every year. Like that's a gig, dude. It's that's why if you ever noticed, a lot of actors, big time actors, have been in shows now, like broadcast, serial, sitcoms, and different things like that, because a lot of actors that we grew up, especially in the 90s and maybe in the 80s, but 90s and early 2000s,
70s, 80s for me, Al.
royalties were big. Some of these people get good money. Like they probably make what you and I do off of shows that were popular. If you get a show that becomes what's it called, nationalized, I forget what it is. Like it's a national show. Like it becomes a a show that's
Yeah, I
played
know what you're talking about.
they have a term for it.
Like Happy Days, something like Happy Days. You use Happy Days. You use Happy Days, and what they
all that kind of stuff. My point is, once you get those royalty checks, they come in. Now sometimes royalty checks could be 10 cents, 20 cents, $1.50, all that kind of stuff. But for like the bigger shows, like the ones that continue to run, like Full House and Seinfeld and all them, they're probably still getting $50,000, $60,000 a year. Some of them, not all of them. Like Seinfeld would get it. Maybe a couple of the other cast members would get that, but the offshoot guys like Newman wouldn't be getting that big of a one. But I think he passed away anyway. But my point is, like that's where I kind of like. That's why the guys do that. So she was kind of getting a royalty check, for lack of better words, to use his name on a sign on a restaurant to sell food. Yes, Matty B coming out of the coffin.
Now, okay, here's the final question.
Syndicated.
What is your feelings about Bryson Stott batting fifth?
Horrible.
Okay,
it worked yesterday. But
no, he was 0 for 3. No, he was 0 for 3 yesterday. He didn't get a hit. He got no hits.
Did he walk?
Well, whether he walked or not, he get no hits. He was an 0 for.
Well, listen, they didn't lose because of yesterday. Let me put it out that. That's more or less what I was talking about. But it's not sustainable, and it's not the way that lineup should be. And even Bowman 4 is not, it doesn't need to be. It can't be sustainable. It really it's one of the things with the Phillies. Out of all the stuff we talked about tonight, that's going to boggle my mind even more. With Schwarber in number 2 spot, not in the 4 spot. It just makes sense. I would rather see Alec Bowman in the 2 spot. I would rather see Bryce Stott in the 2 spot.
No.
I would rather see almost anybody on this lineup in the 2 spot that isn't Kyle Schwarber.
The thing, I'll tell you right now, I would like Harper to be number 2. One, he knows how to run the bases, stuff like that. He's not, and here's the other reason. I'm tired of hearing about all these people complaining he has no protection. Blah, blah. You got a guy hitting 50 home runs behind you. You know what I'm saying?
That's my other point. Like, tell me somebody else that, you would, listen, I'm with you. I don't want to hear
Garcia should bat 4th. That's the bottom line. The guy's hit 30-plus home runs a couple years in his career. Put him behind him. So he bats 200. Who cares? He's a guy. If he hits you 35 home runs, that's what normal power hitters hit anyway. So who cares? Just put him behind Harper.
Again, I'm not even worried about. Okay, I was going to say I thought Stott had a good day. I don't know what you get. Stott was.
What do you have a walk?
He was
yesterday.
It was the only other day he played.
I didn't think. Maybe I looked at the wrong game.
You might have had some like acid flashback to a different game.
No, this hasn't been since the 20s.
No. Let's say that on the air. Let's say that on the air.
No, don't worry. No, but I get what you're saying. I do like Harper too, but in my perfect lineup, I mean, I'd have Crawford one, but that'll never happen. But it should be Turner, Baum, Harper, Schwarber, and then Garcia 5. We all know Marsh is going to bat 6 in this lineup because Robbie has to go left, right. So he's going to be 5th or 6th in this lineup, Marsh, because he can't. That's just a thing on Robbie.
I got one thing this year where they're picking a steady closer and a guy knowing he's closing. But I would, like I said, I could swallow the contract of Kyle Schwarber if he's batting 4th. A little bit easier, I should say.
If he hits you 50 home runs and gives you 120, I can swallow it too. Now, I'm going before I get off out. So all the people who think Harper needs somebody protecting him, right? Last year, Eugenio Suarez, before he got traded, had like 34, 36 home runs. Naylor, who was traded before him, was behind him, had 11 home runs to his 30 before he got traded. Marte only had 19 home runs in front of him total for the season. I didn't see Eugenio have one person protect him, and he still banged 34 to 36 home runs with Arizona.
I don't want to hear this protection stuff.
I don't want either.
I never subscribed to it, to be honest with you, Mike. My thing is how many times, like, take Max Crosby with the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Raiders sucked. Like, the defense was horrible, but he still was elite. Like, he still was getting stats without it. And that's what I said. Could you imagine, like, putting Max Crosby on the Eagles and having a Carter and a Davis with right there? It would be mind-boggling what he should be able to do at that point. It would be unfair almost in the NFL. So in my eyes, if you're an elite player, you should be able to rise against that. Now, if everybody just keeps walking you and you're walking and walking and you're subtracting you from the game, that's where protection becomes important. Where they're not going to throw you a reasonable pitch to hit because they're not afraid of Alec Boehm behind you. I get that to a point. But Alec Boehm can be dangerous too at times when he is. My point is he shouldn't let that stop him. Okay. He even admitted to himself. And Matty B mentioned something during the game, the post game, the Titans final yesterday with me and him doing it together. And he goes, he worries about Harper's swing. And he said it before, so I'll give the man credit.
I did too. I worry about a swing.
Very violent swing, right?
It is.
So if you do not have the what's it say? If you have a bad back, you don't have the energy or the strength to swing like that anymore, it becomes a big problem. And he's even admitted that he wants to be more, see more pitches. Let the pitcher throw more pitches, see more pitches, and that's good. And that's what we want to see from him. But he might need to reinvent himself a little bit in some ways. He can still be elite. The clutch factor is what's going to become important. Stop always just swinging for the fences. But again, it's one game. I'm not going to jump off of the nearest bridge anytime soon.
Well, here's the thing. I watched Sammy Sosa on Up in Smoke, whatever it's called, Matt Barnes and them, and
yeah.
He said he never seen Barry Bonds swinging a bad pitch. Barry always waited for his pitch. That's the difference with Harper. Harper don't wait for his pitch. It's like he's got a one-up Schwarber. Now, the violent swing thing, I seen they talked to Jose Canseco. This is about his swing. At one time, he had the fastest swing in baseball. His was just as violent. He said, I guess that somebody must have brought up Harper or something. He said, what you said, you got to adapt yourself. You can't keep doing that. That's where he started having problems, Canseco said. Like a lot. He has some back problems. Yeah, you can't do that. It's not sustainable, like you said. It's not. And I think Harper, he is an elite right now because he was an elite last year. Can he get back to elite? Yes.
So let me ask you a question. If you can get back to elite, are are you an elite player? Because like it's kind of like a nuance at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, because
but to say he's not elite, you can say he's not playing elite right now, but that means you're not. That doesn't mean you're not elite.
it's
You're just not playing
oh,
elite.
okay. Is
If
elite just offensively, or is that the
playing
whole? Okay. No, is it when you say elite? Is that just for hitting, or is that the whole package, defense and hitting? Because he's an elite. He is an elite first baseman. He's better than I thought he would be.
If you're saying elite generally, I would say it's the whole package. If you're just saying an
Yes.
elite hitter, then you can just you're narrowing it down. But I think overall he's an elite player, in the sense that he came from right field, went to first base, and it has, done well with it. Like he didn't really skip a beat. That's the important part about it. What's going on up, Adam? What's going on, my friend? Jose's popping in here. I'm gonna say Bryce Harper finishes with 40 home runs. I believe he is 400. He thinks he's going to get to 400 home runs this year. Listen, Jose,
it could.
Listen, this is the part where I think Mike Papernick would like to be wrong. He doesn't believe it. He's not. Mike Papernick, tell me I'm wrong. You're not betting the house on that, right?
No, I'll say if he's going to hit anything this year, it's going to be 26 to 29 and 90 some RBIs. That's always going to give it.
If he stays relatively healthy and doesn't miss much time at all, like outside a couple of rest days, or do you believe he could hit 40 home runs?
30 to 30. I'd say 30. No, 30 to 35.
Okay. You say so he'll fall short of the 40.
Yeah, and
is that still a year for him? Don't worry about the
other. He has to get to that. Yes, just for home runs. Yes.
Okay. So 30 plus home runs is one checkbox into the elite year for him.
Yes.
What would classify Bryce Harper having an elite year? Give me a. Let's do a batting average before I let you go.
Well, his regular average is 280 for career, so he gets around that. So I think about 279. You're talking career. Okay, 279. I say 43 home runs and 130 RBIs.
But 130 RBIs.
You'll never see it.
So let's go to 2022, right? Let's just look at 2022.
Yeah.
Which he only had 370 at bats, believe it or not, compared to the last few years where he had 457 in 23, 550 in 24, and last year he was about 501. All right. So he had 370 then. So let's look at the years. He had in 2022, he had 63 home runs. But remember, he got hurt, so he didn't have as many. Let's go to 2023. Mm-hmm. He had 457, 84 runs batted in, 134 hits. He batted at 293. Now, last year he batted at 261. In 2024, he batted 285. So these, I would say, you're saying if he bats 285 or higher, you're okay with that. That's a career. That's an elite batting average, right?
Yeah.
All right, and you're saying
I think his career about 280.
Yeah,
130. He's got to get it.
2019, he had 114 RBIs. I'll skip over 2020. Since then, in 21, he had 84, 65 in 22, 80 in 23, 76 and 70. So outside of the 22 season when he went down, he's trending downwards.
Now, here's a question for you. I think I've asked Maddie. Mm-hmm. Do you think he tries to one-up Schwarber no matter what Schwarber does? I think I've asked Maddie that before. I'm not sure.
Listen, I think they get competitive with each other. I remember, I go back to the four aces of the Phillies, right? Remember they had a little betting between the four of them?
Yeah.
Who had all the whole pitch, like the starting pitching staff, I should say. They had like a little bet, like who had the better batting average at the end of the year. It's like a big steak dinner or something like that. They betted it. But it made it interesting. It's because back then, DH wasn't a thing. It's so funny how I almost can't even remember not having a DH, even though for most of my life we've had a DH. We didn't have a DH. But I think there's always a competitive part, and I go back to this. I brought this up on the show before. I don't know if you've ever saw like online the Steve Harvey was on a podcast and he talks about that There's no man in the world except your father who wants to see you do better than them. And I think that goes really high with athletes. Harper wants Schwarber to hit 50 home runs, but he wants Bryce Harper to hit 60 home runs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He wants Schwarber to bat 300, but he wants Bryce Harper to bat 350. So, yeah, I think there is a competitive. Okay. Is there anything wrong with that? I'm okay with that. Like, I would prefer that than coming back. Schwarber's got this.
Yeah, but it seems like it's every at bat. Like happens, you know what I mean? It's not like it's once or twice. It's like every at bat.
What happens is I see this with a lot of baseball players, especially with the Phillies. If somebody hits a home run, what's the first thing the next hitter does?
Oh yeah, he's trying to put it.
He swings out of his goddamn shoes, dude. Like just woo, corkscrews into the dirt like a cartoon character, right? So that's like kind of like the competitiveness or thinking a guy's going to give you another meatball down the middle of the plate and you want to capitalize on it. That's why back-to-back home runs are so exciting to see because it's not something that happens very often throughout the year. But, yeah, I believe there's a competitiveness, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. There's nothing wrong with it at all in my eyes. Let me ask you this question because you're critical of Bryce Harper, right? And
yeah,
I'm not saying it in a bad way. You're very critical of Bryce Harper.
Listen, yeah.
I'm just being honest, right?
No,
so,
I know. I just laughed.
A friend of mine who I've had on the show back in my EOP days. I'll probably try to get him back on here at one point. Sean Brace, he's on 97.5. He's also part of Fox the Gambler. I don't know if he still does that or if he just does 97.5 now, but he was saying today that he felt that in the afternoon that there's tension between Philly fans and Bryce Harper. And what he said in this video was he looked around the stadium and he didn't see a lot of Harper jerseys. And listen, I respect Sean like majorly. And but I'm willing to disagree with somebody when I think it's a little bit of a hard statement to throw out there on game one.
Yeah, I saw the same thing you just did just now.
Even I'm just saying, there's a guy who is critical, and I'm not saying in a bad way. You're just you have high expectations of your $330 million 13-year contract guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So I want to make sure you know that I'm not breaking your stones on this one, because when I'm breaking your stones, you'll know. But my point is, you're critical of it, but I'm just saying to make that on day one, I think is a little much, just a little much.
Yeah, I thought. Yes, yeah,
he's it is. In the show. He's messaged me, so he might even hear me say this. I don't know. But it's again, Sean, if you're listening, it's not a slight against you in any which way. I just thought it was a little premature for that observation. That's all.
Think about Bryce only having that. Here's the elite. Here's where the offensive elite, where I don't think he is not fully elite. I think offensively, he only had 2 100 RBI RBIs in his career. One with Washington, one with Phillies.
But you mean 100 RBI?
100 with the Phillies. Yeah, one with the Phillies, one with Washington. That's it.
18 and 19.
That's it.
Last year he was in the Nationals, and the first year he was in with the Phillies. He came here. He hit 114 RBIs.
Yep.
He got 99 walks. The only time he got more than that was in 21 when he got 100 walks. But he only batted 260 that year. Do you know that?
Yeah. Well,
and actually, the thing is, he's only batted over 300 twice in his career.
Yes.
I'm sorry, 3 times. 2015, 2017, both with the Nationals, and then once with the Phillies in 2021. He came close in 23 with a 293. Other than that, it was the next highest one was 285.
Yeah, I mean, I don't take nothing away from him because, like I say, he's a career batting average of 280. I mean, not a lot of guys can say that.
Yeah, and here's my thing is, this is how I look at it. It's not just about the stats with him. At one point, and I'm going to tell you, it was Arizona 2023 postseason, right? At one point, When he was up to bat, you felt like anything could happen. You felt like anything could happen. That's the clutch. Since then, I haven't had that feeling, except for the WBC was the only time I saw something like that from him in a very long time. And I'm hoping, again, it's still not it can't happen, but I'm hoping that propels him back to being anything can happen moment.
That's why I think he has to bat in front of Schwarber. He can't bat behind him.
Adam said he saw a lot of Harper jerseys, and he's seeing a lot of Harper jerseys. Yeah, again, I'm not sitting there trying to say he's clickbaiting or anything. That's not what I'm trying at all. But I think I think the tension Sean's talking about, and get away from the jerseys for a second, is he he knows what we've talked about. Well, everything that you've been critical about him about, and I and everybody else, he's well aware of, and he's a competitor. And when you're a competitor, you're harder on yourself than anybody else. I do not think Bryce Harper goes to bed at night when he goes 0 for 4 a happy man. He doesn't. I don't. I really don't. I think it keeps him up at night. And that's what I want from my player. Unfortunately, he has been kind of riddled with some injuries that sidelined him between the hand, the elbow, the back. Yeah, he just had moments. He is a showman, which he's kind of gotten the nickname the showman. We saw him do the London slide where he slides on his knees and all that stuff. He does bring a flair to the game, but he used to be able to back the flare up. And it just hasn't clicked for all the Phillies at one time since 2022. And then, of course, they got cold in the World Series against the Astros. And I'm telling you, sometimes early success can be a kiss of death. And I always go back to the Nationals from last year or the year before. They went from, a middling team, barely, winning 4 or 5 games to a team that made the NFC Championship game. But I have to always point out, got completely taken to the shed. But then they struggled, last year. Injuries and harder schedule really caught up with them. So they might get a little better this year because the schedule gets a little lighter on them. But the Phillies in 2022 had the same problem. They kind of went skyrocket from 2019. I mean, you went from 2019 to 2020. 2020 was an anomaly for what it was worth. 2021, and then 2022, bam, we're in a World Series now. You went from not being in the playoffs for a couple of years to bam, being in the playoffs. And then not just being in the playoffs, but making the World Series and having a damn good chance of winning it. And ever since then, kind of had this attitude, the Phillies, that we're going to get there. That it's we're going to go through the motions of the regular season, and when we get there, we'll turn it on. They don't have that anymore. I'm hoping this year, one thing, if anything, when it gets to the postseason, that they have a nice piece of humble pie. But it's not a given. And if they want to slay a giant of the Dodgers, which I think the Phillies can, this isn't a homer take. I think the Phillies could slay the Dodgers in a 5-game series. I think if both teams are healthy and playing to their top of their game, I think the Phillies can not easily, but can win that battle. Because I think the Phillies got them on starting pitching rotation. Depending on how the bullpen works out, they could. The top 4 guys in our bullpen, I take over the top 4 guys mostly in their bullpen. Because remember, the Dodgers won last year on starters. They really didn't use much bullpen guys. They just had their bullpen was really kind of a mash unit. They had to use a lot of starters to go longer into the games. And then if Harper's playing an elite, Schwarber's knowing what we can do, Trey Turner looks like he's picking up right where he left off from the last year. If all those things are going right and you're getting production from the bottom of the lineup, I think the Phillies could win because no matter how bad they were doing last year, and they got behind the 8 ball pretty quickly in the postseason with the Dodgers, they were in a fight. The Dodgers were in a fight still. We were one bad Orion Kerkering play away from possibly bringing on another game. It'll be a game 7 in a series that didn't think that was going to go that way. And that's why people get hopeful for the Phillies, but people also get let down for the Phillies. Because the pieces are there. They just never seem to be working at the same time. that make sense?
Yes, 100%.
Anything else you want to add in before I let you go? I know I've kept you on a little longer than you probably expected.
No, don't bother me. No, I mean, I, I look. I think the Phillies are a third place team, and maybe like I told Maddie, maybe it's just me just being jaded. You know what I mean? But we're all. I think somewhere in the back. I think there's. I mean, there's people thinking that the Atlanta Braves are going to be, and they are injured. But
Listen,
that's a team.
as of right now, everybody's won their first game of the season. The NL East is all 1-0 as of Saturday, March 20 or Friday, March 27th at 10:24 p.m.
Yeah, but what I'm
Everybody's
getting
won.
at is, it's like we only won the. It seems like we only won the division by default because the Braves were injured for 2 years. The Phillies, the Mets, or whatever, but they couldn't win the division before that.
Well, did the Braves win before that because the Phillies were injured or weren't playing well? Like I don't subscribe to that. You play who's in front of you, right? I mean, listen, if you go and beat a bunch of middling teams, like or like you go beat up on the Rockies, you go beat up on the White Sox, you go beat up Pirates and all those type of teams, and then you go play a good team like the Braves or the Mets, and you're just getting your ass handed to you. I mean, don't forget we couldn't win against the Mets in 2022 for the first half of the season, and the Braves. We had to fight our way to it. We got to claw our way into the playoffs. And that's when the dog had to fight. I mean, if you really kind of break it down 2022, we could have easily lost. We were it took us to the 9th inning to win against the Cardinals.
Oh, no, yeah, I remember all that, yes.
And that team looked like what we've seen now for the first 8 innings of that first Cardinals game, right? Again, great pitching, but just the bats were cold and ineffective. And then
Then Robbie pulled Max. What was that game? I forget what game that was. Remember, he should have kept him in there. But when he pulled on Wheeler, in the World Series, he should have pulled him.
That's one of those things. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Now, if he kept him in, if he took him out, and the next guy got the guy, everything went on, and they struck him out, but the bats didn't do anything.
Yeah, well, here's the bigger question now. What happened the year afterwards when the Dodgers weren't there? There was 2020, no big name team was there.
You mean 2023 when we lost the Cardinals?
We lost Arizona.
The Cardinals read the book to us.
No, we lost to Arizona. No, we lost to Arizona.
I keep saying Arizona Cardinals.
The Diamondbacks wrote the put the blueprint out there on how to beat the Phillies, and then that's what you look at the Mets. The Mets one proved it all. Last year was a combination, but it was, but they weren't crazy like they did against the Mets. That was the Mets pitches. They made the Mets pitching staff look like, the pitching staff would.
I mean, this year the pitching staff isn't great. I don't like using the term. I'll say it like jokingly, like, "Oh, the Mets are going to Met," but the Mets made us look stupid in 24.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Their pitching staff was horrible.
Yeah, that's still they were a hot team. We were not a hot team. We had just assumed that the baseball gods would just shine down upon us. That's hubris.
Now, there was a move made in the first game. I can see this move happening during the season. You bench because you need all your best players out there. What are you doing benching Bomb because he's not hitting the ball? He's your best version you could put on third base. Who else are you going to put out there? The utility guy? Yeah, there's a reason why the utility guy's utility guy.
Yeah, but also if you're having a bad attitude and you're just you're becoming an issue in the locker room, I get you can't cut your nose off to spite your face type situation. Yeah, but at the same time, if his negative bullshit is causing problems, you got to get him out of there.
Like, but 24 it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was because he wasn't hitting. So he sat him down.
Cold as shit.
Yeah, I get that part. I get it, but Alex Rodriguez never hit in the playoffs. I mean, you're going to put the utility. That's what I get with Robbie.
A-Rod's team did. You know what I mean? There's a difference. It wasn't like he was like listen, when you're that cold, when the rest of the team you're struggling to find offense, you got to make a decision. That's the one of
Well,
the few
boy,
decisions I'm not blaming
you
Rob for too much. You know what you really got me got me annoyed with Rob Thompson in the playoffs more than anything.
what do I? I'll go with you on
At
this
least,
because there's a lot.
at least with that, he was willing to take a chance of saying, "You know what? Somebody else is getting a chance because obviously it's not coming from you." But with that being said, is the thing that pissed me off the most, especially in 2024, I saw it. He took the bullpen that was doing its job, right,
Uh-huh.
and he turned it on its head.
Yeah.
He put the closer in the 6th or 7th inning,
That's
and
the
we went
best.
backwards. I was like, wait a minute, so you're telling me it's worked the whole goddamn season, but for whatever reason, when the calendar strikes October, you got to go, whoop, I don't know.
Well, listen. Look. Everybody knows how
That's
my
like the
feelings on this
ejector seat
guy.
in the old Polish helicopter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like
Makes no sense.
yeah, but that's one of many minute things that I don't like about Robbie. But yeah, his handle of the ball, but his baseball moves are questioned. I mean, look, I'm going to say it real easy. He's clueless. I'm just going to say that he's clueless.
Real easy, real slow for
You know,
everybody.
I mean, listen. Did he get us to the World Series, or did our team get hot? Think about that one. The team got hot. He didn't get it.
You can't take it away from him. But, my problem is, why will you change the secret sauce when it was working?
He does. It's what he does. You got to understand. That's Robbie.
Jose thinks Bohm will be traded by the deadline.
Listen, Bohm. Okay, here you go. Check this out. Nobody's taking Bohm this offseason that went by. We all knew that. Nobody was going to trade for him. Okay, nobody's going to take Bohm at one. He's going to be a free agent. So what are they going to trade? They ain't going to trade nobody. Bohm ain't going nowhere. Who's going to play third? Miller's hurt. He ain't going nowhere. He's stuck here. Okay, for the rest of the season. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, I would rather see Stock go and put Miller at second, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I don't know. I'm very odd. I'm very bullish about I actually feel if the two of them you're going to get something out of, I feel Stott would be more likely than Alex.
Well, how can you say that? Stott? Yeah, but how can you say it when Baum has more 90 RBI season than Bryce Harper does?
You're not wrong. I think Stott, if he could just, I don't think like he needs to be an elite batter, but if he can be a serviceable batter who can who can get the ball in play with his defense, put him in the 7, 8, 9 hole, that's good for me.
No, but you just said so.
If Bohm has a good year, here's the problem. If Bohm has a really good year, let's say he has a career year, MVP-esque year, like top 10 voting, right? Can the Phillies even sign him?
Well,
are you going to sign another guy? You're going to sign? Are you
go with Miller?
Alec Bohm? Here's my thing: is you got 8. I was about to get to that. You got Aiden Miller in the back, getting ready, and you have, are you willing to sign this guy for 3, 4, 5 years? Because what's he gonna be, 29?
Yes, is he somewhere? I don't even know. Maybe somewhere, but
I think
would he? Well, I mean, if you could get him for like a Christopher Sanchez contract, which I think is
right now.
Okay. Look at Christopher Sanchez. If you can get Baum, I guess if he had MVP season, blah blah blah, everything, and you can get him for real cheap, like Philly's lucked out with Christopher Sanchez, and I got told it's a show me contract because you only have one good season, And so Baum, if he that would his only really one good season would be this, even though he had the 90 RBIs, but a full season put together, you might be able to get him on cheap, maybe if he wants to stay here. But I don't think he wants to be here. He's going to walk. They're not going to sign him. He'll walk. He ain't going to play here. No. Yankees,
This
Boston.
is my thing is one of few things is going to happen, and I got to apologize, my blue Rob. I called him Robert again. You are one of my friends, buddy. I swear to you. And I see the name, and sometimes I just read it out of my eye. That is teleprompter reading 101. I just Ron Burgundy it a little bit. But one of few things is going to happen. Like, if there's value for Bohm at the trade deadline, maybe. But if he's playing in a career year and you think he's going to help you get over the hump to win a World Series, I think if they win the World Series and he's the MVP of the World Series, he's still gone. You can't pay him. And you got to, listen, you're going to lose. No, you can't pay him, but you're going to get money off the books, right? Nick Castellanos is fully off the books at that point. A lot of these big numbers come off the books. Bohm is a decent sized number as it is right now. Is he like $12.5 million?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And like you said, you have Aiden Miller, and you're injecting youth into this team now. If Crawford has a half decent year, Andrew Painter starts. I said a good year would be a good 4 or 5 guy, where he doesn't really have any like games where he gets flummoxed. But overall, like if you're injecting some youth in this team, Aiden Miller could be that guy. And Alec Boehm hasn't lived up to. I mean, he has had moments. He has had moments. Like I hate to sound like I'm pounding on the guy, but he's just been so his career with the Phillies has been the antithesis of what the Phillies postseason has been all about, or silly seasons have been all about. He looked great at moments, like a World Series caliber team, but then they come out cold in the end. It's just
okay.
They're good enough to want to keep around. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And if you have Aiden Miller in the waitings, and you're gonna have to pay this guy at least 3, 4, 5 year contract of, say, even if he gets a decent one of 20 million, 25 million a year, are you paying that?
No.
Let me ask you a question. Are you paying him at 30 years old? Because by the time. So here's the thing: is his birthday is August 3rd. He will be 30 by the time right by the deadline.
Well, how about unless you offer him a Pete Alonso contract, where he can opt out if he has a good year or not?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Something
like that.
You're going to pay him $25 million to allow him
for 1 year. I mean, because
he's not ready, I guess.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, because now he's back. We don't. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, that's something like it's not talked about enough.
But here's what's going to come down to whether Baum gets traded. If the Phillies are playing bad, they're most likely they'll try to trade him. That's if they're playing. If they're in the race, he ain't going nowhere. They can't.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. How are you going to justify putting Mundo Sosa there every day?
I think if he's doing really well, they're going to ride him to the end and let him walk in the offseason. I mean, in the perfect world, you get something for the guy. In the perfect world, you get something for the guy when he's hot. But you got to be pretty damn sure if your team's doing that well. You got to be doing pretty damn sure that you can replace him with somebody. Like if Aiden Miller gets healthy and he starts tearing the ball off in the minors, and they can bring him up or something type situation. But Rob sitting here going, Bohm is not going anywhere because of baseball strike next year. Well, I mean, listen, there was a strike with Schwarber and Castellanos. There was a lockout or holdout or whatever you call it.
I got to comment out that December it runs out. I guarantee before December you're going to see the biggest run in free agent signings because these guys won't know what that next if there's going to be a
grandfather name.
Well, no. Say these guys don't sign contracts, these free agents, and they roll into that, and now you got a salary cap. I guarantee you're going to see a bunch of. That's why you're going to see the biggest run in free agent signings before the general manager's meeting. I'm telling you, because
are these owners going to be able to, or GMs or whatever? Do you think knowing that they might be able to do that, but say, hey, listen,
get them on the cheap, and get them fast?
Because you want to sign that big contract before they change baseball for as we know it.
Yep.
You're going to do it for $5 million a year less than you were going to do it normally.
They might. I'm telling you, you're going to see them because like you said, they'll be grandfathered in.
Interesting. It's a good point.
You're gonna see. You're gonna see it. I mean,
I didn't
look,
think about
Christopher.
that. In my head, I'm applauding you on this.
I think the contract runs out December 26th, the day after Christmas.
Okay.
I think it's somewhere there. It's in December. These guys are going because you got to understand. You don't know if you wait. And you got a family to feed. You know what I mean? You got money, but
it expires
who knows?
At 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 1st.
December 1st. Okay. Well, before December 1st, you're gonna see guys sign because it's like on the Vegas. You know what I mean? It's a crapshoot. Okay, if I could win the money, I could lose my money. You know what I mean? These guys are going to say, okay, I'll take the money because if I wait and the CABA comes in and they say, look, we got a salary cap and we got to watch how we pay now and blah, blah, blah. You're going to see guys get money. Watch. Teams are going to load. I'm telling you, watch. It's going to be a run. It's going to be the run of runs.
You think because you can start signing guys, pretty much right after the World Series?
Well, you get it. Okay, so the Phillies. Do you know the Phillies had a 5-day window to sign Schwarber? They could have gauged his interest right there. I would have offered him. I would have said, "What do you want, Kyle?" Okay, then counter it with something, and you'll know if he really wants to be here.
So here you go. MLB free agent can formally sign with any club starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after the 5th day after the World Series.
Yep. So it's about 3 weeks. About 3 weeks.
We all say the NFL never sleeps, but MLB is not much different. I mean, literally 5 days after the World Series is free agency. You could jump into the pool 5 days after the free. As winning the World Series definitely probably puts you. I mean, the Dodgers seem to get. Don't get me wrong.
But before that, Al, what I was saying was there's a window for the teams to sign their own free agents. A 5-day window. There's a 5-day window.
5-day window. That's pretty much in that 5 days.
Well,
probably from the day. So
okay.
Players who are non-tendered, not offered a contract by their previous club by the deadline in late November, typically November 21st, also enter free agency.
Okay.
I just did an AI search of it.
So it's probably from the end. What's about 3 weeks they'll have then of people can change teams because the World Series ends sometime in late October.
Those 7 games, you're about like November 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, so you get about 3.5 weeks, maybe.
Most of the month of November, pretty much. 5 days in, so you have about 3 weeks, give or take. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're going to see guys sign. I'm telling you, it's going to be a big run because they're going to be afraid of that salary cap.
That's a very interesting take. I'm going to give you. Now you're going to make me think about it. 24 hours after the World Series, you can re-sign their own players. So that's your 5-day window. Pretty much 24 hours after. So they could have signed and offered in Schwarber the day after the World Series.
But what that would have done was whatever that would have showed where they stood with Schwarber on numbers, basically. And if they said, okay, we'll give you, if say they offered him the 5 years, 150, he goes, no, I don't want that. Well, then I would have went to Pete Alonso.
Well,
you see where I'm going? Because you would have known.
Jose says, what if a deal's done mid-season to avoid the lockout? Anything done before the lockout is going to have to get grandfathered in. They can't go and change Bryce Harper's contract or Shohei Ohtani's contract at this point. So whatever agreements put in there, it'll probably be going forward. So they have to figure out I'm sure there's going to be some mathematical thing that they're going to be able to figure out that allows them to say, this doesn't count towards the cap, or this doesn't count if they put a cap in. They can say, so they'll grandfather those people in. So I'm sure there's going to be something against that. So I think you will see a lot of guys signed in the regular season and probably those 3 weeks leading up. I mean, if you're like the Phillies really thought they wanted to sign Schwarber, if they knew the lockout was coming, they might have not even gone through all last year before it happened.
Yeah, it's going to be
done in the middle of the season.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right with that. I just think it's going to be interesting because it's about money. I mean, I don't want to see. I've been through strikes with the Phillies, with the Major League Baseball. I don't want that. Nah. Look, I like watching. I watch hockey. I watch a little basketball. I'm a bigger Phillies and Eagles fan. So they're my two seasons. You take that one away from me, it's like I feel like losing the. You know what I mean? I feel like it's like
Yeah, no,
oh man.
listen, that's why October is one of my favorite times of year. If the Phillies are in the playoffs, the Eagles are on the getting on the run at this point, and the Flyers are starting. I'm a happy camper. Oh yeah, the
See, I
Sixers play. No,
I love all of them. I lived in Philly for 39 years, so I love them all. I mean, I
what
always
part of
will.
Philly are you
I'm
from?
just Northeast. I lived between. I lived in Feltonville, which was right by Alany, and then I moved down to Kensington. I lived
Okay,
down there for a while. But yeah, my buddies, a friend of mine, I grew up. His sisters, they live out in Delaware County, I think Ridley Township area
okay, so that's
and
not too
everything.
far. I work in Ridley Township.
Yeah, if I'm right, I think she's still out there and everything. Yeah, because
Well, if
we used to go out there.
you're ever in Delco, hit me up. I'll go.
w-
We'll have
I'll
a
tell you, the
conversation.
last time I was out there, the McDade Mall was up.
Oh damn! Wow, you're showing your age, brother. That was the
That was
last time.
that was the 80s. That was late. That was like
That's
80. I mean,
90s.
88, 80. Well, when we went up there, it was like 89. We take the train up.
The last movie I saw at the McDade Mall was either Mortal Kombat or Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah. See, I never watched movies. We just.
Because in Delaware County, for those who don't know, there was a few movie theaters you could go to. There was the one that's still not too far from my house here in Springfield. The Marple Crossroads movie theater. In I guess that's Broomall. It's considered Springfield Broomall area. And then you could go up to the Grand Run Mall back in the day, but that's gone. That movie theater's gone. And then there was all the way up in Exton if you're staying in the Delaware County area. There was one in Upper Darby too for back in the day. That kind of fell apart when I was younger. But there was the McDade Mall. But in the 90s, if you remember back in the 90s, there was like a big problem with violent video games, and Mortal Kombat was one of the big ones, right? People saying video games stimulated anger issues in people and stimulated violent tendencies and all that kind of stuff. Playing sports where you're throwing guys around, that doesn't violent tendencies, but whatever. My point is, like, there were certain movies they wouldn't play. Beavis and Butt, like those big AMC movies and stuff, would not play Beavis and Butthead, would not play Mortal Kombat because of all the scrutiny around them. But we had to go to the McDade Mall to see them.
Okay. Yeah. See, I never, when we would go there, it was just to hang out. We never went to, because it was only for a week. We got there usually on a late Friday night and then went there Saturday.
Little Delco trivia for you guys, But no, definitely, if we ever get together, I like grab a beer and talk to you, and we'll yell at each other in person, right? But I'm gonna let you go because we're gonna wrap it up here.
Al, you have a good night.
You have a great night, Mike, as always. Be safe, have fun, enjoy your weekend. I know you got a lot coming up here this weekend. Let me just actually pull up before I let you go so you can help me talk about all this, because tonight, of course, is the Philly Friday Frenzy, but tomorrow we got the best. So Matty B has some reruns coming from the previous parts of the week, but you have the Phillies post game, you have the Flyers post game, and then Sunday morning, me and Mikey are back for Philly AM Sports, Phillies and Rangers, as well as Flyers and Stars. So a lot of content coming at you this weekend. So, Mike, I appreciate you, but I'm going to let you go so I can sign off here.
Hey, you have
brother.
a good night. All right. You have a good night. Bye.
All right, buddy. Mikey P, the man. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me. Remember, all that stuff I said is coming at you live. And then I think you get final word with Matty B back on Monday night. So you got a lot of coverage here. Here is your coverage for Saturday for the Rangers post game is Mike Laro. And then Sunday, because I guess you're not going to get down on the farm just yet. I don't know, because they really haven't started yet. You got that coming up. And so tomorrow, Matt's on the call for the Flyers game, and vice versa Sunday, the Stars game with Mike Laro. Guys, thank you for joining me. I hope you guys all have a safe, great weekend. I'll see you all back here, same channel, different time, Sunday at 9 a.m. For anybody, Jose, your new name I haven't seen before. So if you haven't hit the likes and subscribe or share button, please feel free to do so. It helps guys like us who do what we do. And I hope that way you can hit the little bell, and then we'll talk to you more on Sunday with me and Mikey Laro. So, guys, other than that, enjoy your Friday, the rest of your Friday evening, and I will see you all next time.